to another edition of EastLASportsScene.com. We're on the net for you and yours to really enjoy us here as you sit back and relax and watch this edition of East LA Sports Scene, as we've always done our best to bring very, very talented people in our community, whether they be players, whether they be students, coaches, you name it, administrators. We try to focus the entire spotlight on our community and those of our members in the community that really have chosen sports as a way of expressing what they feel, what they like to do, and using it as a vehicle to bridge those entities in their lives, from student to the working man, or from a student to a coach, or whatever. But as long as they're moving forward and progressing in their lives, we want to stop, take time, and focus on those individuals. And how fitting it is to bring back on to East LA Sports Scene a young talent in our community, a young man who's been dedicated to many, many things, not only to his schooling, to his community, but also to NC2A football, Division I, and with the USC Trojans. We welcome back to our studios here in East LA in Boyle Heights at the Boyle Heights Technology and Youth Center. We welcome Mr. Ricky Rosas. Ricky, good evening.
Good evening, Rico.
Good to have you back, my friend.
Thank you for having me back.
And again, belated 21st birthday to you. Just a couple of weeks ago, you turned 21, and now you're in that magic world of 21 and above. How does it feel being a 21, Rick?
It feels pretty good to be 21. It's just a lot of fun, different, not being a kid anymore.
Okay. And you have had for the past several years, the grand opportunity to be the special assistant to Coach Pete Carroll in one of the most storied and traditional programs in NC2A football, the USC Trojans. Let's talk a little bit about those years that you've developed there at USC, Ricky.
Well, the year that I developed at USC have been a lot of fun for me. I got to meet a lot of people, got to be around some of the greatest guys and people of the USC football program.
And again, taking into consideration the fact that you come from East LA, you're a resident of East LA, and you've been that way since you were a small kid, and you're still an adult and living in the community, but you make that commute every day. When the season's on, you're right there with Coach Carroll.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. I really like to be around them, and it's just so much fun just to be around all those guys who are just so nice. And it's so funny because they're so big compared to how I am, and it's funny how they take a liking into me like that.
Now, Ricky, we were saying Coach Carroll, of course, if he were still at USC, but there's no secret. It's out. He's already signed and committed. He's going to the Seattle Seahawks of the NFL, and there was a lot of talk about how that happened. Anything you could tell us that helped him to make his decision when he moved on to the NFL? Well,
actually, I have no information about it. I was just watching SportsCenter like everybody else was. Mm-hmm. I was just as shocked as everybody else was when I found out he was going to go to the NFL. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy for him because I know he always wanted to go back, and he gets to go back. And not only did he get to go back, but he gets to go back with some of his former SC players. So it should be a blast for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because Coach Carroll is going to be a very, very hard person to follow in terms of being a coach at SC. He accomplished so many things, and some of the headlines you'll see that here in the LA Sentinel, he was more than a coach. He was many things to many of the players, and the future doesn't look so bad for USC. Let's talk about what's going to happen in 2010. And according to the new coach, Lane Kiffin, it may be a different situation, but nonetheless, you're going to be in the middle of that mix. So let's talk about preparation for that season coming up in the fall.
Well, for the preparation for this upcoming season, we gotta get ready. We just gotta get our coaching staff ready to go, because it's going to be a good season for us. Because just getting back Lane, he already knows what USC wants. He's been around the program, so it's nothing new for him. So it should be a good season for us.
Okay. The recruits hopefully will be able to speak with Coach Kiffin, Coach Orgeron, and get that recruitment, the signing dates coming up just in a couple of weeks. Any inside information about that?
I have no inside information about that right now. I have not gone to USC this whole week. I'm planning to go sometime either this week or next week just to see what's going on with the recruits, how they're doing, and just seeing the atmosphere right there, right now.
All right. Again, in football, as we now know, is over. The national championship has been won by the Alabama Crimson Tide as they took care of the Texas Longhorns here in the Rose Bowl for the BCS championship. And was that your pick, Ricky? Did you have Alabama in the winner's circle?
No, I did not, but they played really well.
Okay.
I actually was fortunate. I actually got to go to that game as a gift from one of my friends. So that was a blast. Get to go see Mark Ingram and get to go see Cole McCoy and get to go be at that Rose Bowl game.
Okay. And also not to say that the Trojan season ended on a huge down note. No, it was there in the bowl picture. They went to San Francisco for the Emerald Bowl, correct?
Yes, they did.
Yes. And let's talk about that because you were also invited to go there.
Oh, well, the Emerald Bowl was so much fun. The players, I think they actually liked it because it was just different from going there. And, I mean, they got to experience a new thing. Yes, we're so accustomed to going to the Rose Bowl. We're so used to being in the national title hunt and playing for a national title a lot of years. It's just a lot of fun going to San Francisco, seeing all the fans that actually came out and supported the team and us.
Now, that game was played without Stephon Johnson, who was a very big fan favorite, and up until he got hurt, he couldn't play anymore. But they gave some information and notice that he would be playing in the Senior Bowl coming up on January 30th. Any information about that?
I just know that he's going to play in the Senior Bowl, and I hope he does really well. I like him a lot. I miss him so much. He's a great guy. He deserves the best, and whatever he does in the future, I wish him the best of luck.
Okay. Now, let's talk about also the other things on campus at SC. As we know, there will be spring practice coming up before we know it, or maybe in March, just in a couple of months. And there'll be the first time that Coach Kiffin and his staff will have a chance to work with the players. Will you be around at that time, Ricky?
I should be around with them at that time. I just got to talk to Coach Kiffin and see what he says.
Okay. And so far, any of the indications are you'll still be part of the staff there at SC?
As of right now, yes, the indications are that I will be back working with the football team this year.
Okay. Now, again, we're talking about recapping this season, the 2009 season. And again, it wasn't the season that Coach Carroll and the staff wanted. However, they played some very, very strong teams, but it just, in the Pac-10, things kind of broke down a little bit, and they couldn't get the big wins that they needed. And sure enough, Oregon got into the Rose Bowl. Talk a little bit about that, Ricky, for us.
Well, Oregon has a great team. A lot of returning starters coming back this season, and it gets that when you're in the Pac-10, you just got to be ready for all your games, no matter who you are, where you're playing at, because you don't know what the opposing team's going to bring every week. I mean, one week Oregon could come out hot. The next week they could come out flat. That goes for every single team in the Pac-10, including USC.
Well, there was a lot of great players, a lot of good teams in the Pac-10 this season, and every week was a tough week.
Yes, it was. Very tough week in the Pac-10.
Okay, and we'll see maybe from Stanford, one of the players is going to be heading to the NFL. He's declared now, as we all know, the big running back from Stanford, and he's a local product right here from Southern California, and we all know who he is.
Toby Gerhart, he was the runner-up for the Heisman.
And wow, there's going to be a lot of new players coming up into programs all across the Pac-10, and I think there's going to be a restoration project to try and get USC back on track and get into the BCS Championship Series again. What do you think, Rick?
Well, with Lane, you never know what's going to happen because he's a great coach. It's just going to depend on how bad the players want to play for him. I think right now they have the potential to go right back into the BCS title hunt. Just because they are SC, everybody knows who they are, and almost every team in the nation still, even though they don't have Liner, even though they don't buzz, they don't have the team they want. But I think a lot of teams still Spirit USC.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and come back as we continue on with our conversation with Ricky Rosas.